Right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Three Wise Men. We're on the Will Stewart's Tottenham Hotspur Football Club rants program. And I'd like to introduce our panel over here. That way, right, is Brian. Brian, you may know him from Tottenham away. You may know him from the Irish Hotspur. You may know him pretty much everywhere. You're like the Scarlet Pimpernel, mate.
I really am. I'm busy all day just pimping myself out on all different Tottenham YouTube channels.
Excellent. In case anybody's wondering, this is what Mr. K looks like with the beard trim. I'll have you know. Right, and on the weekends, I am doing the old. Yes, we've got to do it. Inigat. And below, on there in the corner, where am I going? That way. Right, it's Awesome you. Awesome, say a few words for yourself.
I'm awesome, or I'm one of the Tottenham Hotspur fans, and this is a Three Wise Men group, and it's me, Brian, and Mr. K are the Three Wise Men, and hashtag Inic out. Yeah.
Okay, and last but not least, today we have a wonderful guest, a man that needs no introduction because he's pretty much everywhere in the newspapers and he's all over Sky News, dressed up as an Enoch out clown. It's Stelios himself from Tottenham away. Welcome, Stelios. Welcome to our first ever episode of Three Wise Men, and for some reason we felt that we needed someone a little bit wiser than ourselves. So we called upon you. Please introduce yourself to our viewers.
What an introduction. What can I say? Mr. K, it's an honor to be on your show. As soon as you texted me, I was, I'm there. I can't wait.
Right. So, basically, the theme of the show is basically we want this. That's what we want. In whatever shape or form, it's not really, these guys to basically walk out, but maybe they have a change of mind, business philosophy. We just want our club back. We just want the pride back in our club. So we formed this show underneath this channel to really reach out to the viewers, share some stories, find out what the glory was like, find out what memories they have that made it special for them to be a Spurs fan, remind the new Spurs fans exactly what was like before, try to understand some of the fears that some of the fan base have because they've seen much more rougher times than this. Now, we're all upset that Kane's going, but come on. Bale went once upon a time. Modric went once upon a time. The dynamic duo. But Stelios, tell us, if you possibly can, you must have some fond and happy memories inside yourself of Spurs itself. Moments that made you feel proud to be a Spurs fan. They do exist, don't they?
Yeah, my memories are mixed. I've got very distant memories. I've got memories growing up and I've got recent memories. So distant memories I didn't really understand because I was too young. But it was the 80s where we were a good team and we should have won the league in the mid-80s as well, but we kind of mucked it up and Everton won it. I was a kid, kind of flashbacks, I look back and I remember. But now I'm old and I go on YouTube and I watch, I'm like, that's what that was. Probably the good memories are 1991, the FA Cup, the 99, back then it was called the League Cup. Funnily enough, we had an ex-Arsenal manager in charge, which didn't go down well, but he won us a trophy. So they were good memories, but generally growing up, supporting Tottenham wasn't good because Arsene Wenger went to Arsenal and transformed them into a magnificent side. Whether you like Arsenal or not, the football they played was sublime. In fact, they used to call it Wenger football, but actually it was Tottenham football. Tottenham created that style of play 20, 30 years before then. So, but the new generation will call it Wenger football. And then the recent good memories would be Harry Redknapp and Pochettino gave us some magnificent games. Pochettino took us to the brink, but didn't get over the line. We can discuss tonight why that was. I firmly put it in the hands of the board and the chairman. So in terms of memories, that's kind of the three different areas of memories. If you were to ask me which was my favourite memories.
Yep.
I think other than 91, there was something special about the Pochettino era. The football and the levels we got to, that's the closest we've come to winning a league title and to winning a major European trophy. So, I don't know, Poch was magnificent, man.
Well, I think as far as like most of the recent memory goes, it goes down to Poch. But I've heard since Kane has been leaving, and there's been a little bit of a dryness when it comes to which manager we're going to get. Fans have been thinking to themselves about Martin Hall, Redknapp. You know, they started to remember the good things that have happened underneath these other managers. But one of the questions which I wanted to ask Brian,
Yes,
is there any performance you've ever seen from the team where they didn't win or anything, but you're proud of their performance, that they went on the pitch and they left it there? Can you remember the last time you felt like that?
Oh, do you know what? That is a fantastic question. That is a fantastic question. I'm just trying to remember. There's been games where I'm just trying to remember them now. But during my time, there have been games where I have seen that, where we have given everything and just couldn't get it finished. But what Tottenham did then, and the memories, and I will before the end of this stream remember games like that. I'll give you a prime example actually. A few years ago, one that's just come to my head. We lost to Manchester City 3-2 after being 2-0 down. Gareth Bale scored a wonderful curler from outside the box to make it 2-2. Yeah. Mario Balotelli should have been sent off because he almost took Scott Parker's eye out.
Yeah.
And then they got a penalty in the last minute, a dubious penalty, and they won the game and they gave everything. Another one that's just come to my head, the 4-3 with Inter Milan when Bale got a hat-trick. We were absolutely crucified in that first half. Gomez got sent off, 4-0 down. The team played out of their skin for the final, for the second half, and pulled it back to 4-3. There's been loads of games, but like Stel was saying, my memories with Spurs run deep. Because my mum was born in Tottenham. My grandma and grandpa, bless them, were diehard Tottenhams. I've heard all about the glory days of Bill Nick. I've heard all about the push and run. I've heard all about the Jimmy Greaves and the Alan Gilzeens and the Dave Mackays. And then obviously, Stella and I are exactly the same age. We were in the same class of school. We grew up watching the Gathers, the Waddles, the Linekers, when we could attract this kind of people. There were some great times. The 90s weren't the best, but there were some great times. There were some great times. And then, like Stell said, we've got Martin Yole and the great boys at We Are Tottenham TV have just started releasing snippets from their Martin Yole interview. And I just watched the one with the question they asked about when he got sacked at half time. And you could see the anguish in him just before he answered that question. It was hard. Like Stell said, with Pochettino, well, we struck gold.
I think one of the things which I remember about Poch the most, which I was proud of the most, was it didn't matter if we went down 2-0. It didn't matter. We're going to fight them until the last minute.
The Swansea game, 2-0 down with 10 minutes to go, we won 3-2. There's another one.
And the other thing was we did it to big teams as well. We didn't care whether we did it small teams or big teams. We were at all of them. There wasn't any complexion. Awesome. How long have you been a fan? Awesome. And which matches do you think you like the most in terms of which managers and teams and so forth? Give us a brief.
This one, I've been a Tottenham fan for a while, about let me say 8 years now, and it came more. It was in and out, but it came more during the beginning of Poch. Because I draw more to become a Tottenham fan because of Harry Kane. When Harry Kane was in transition of taking over as a main striker, it kind of catch your attention. But the game that will blow everybody, that blew everybody, that made all the players cry, was the semi-final of Champions League with Manchester City. That game was too much. Manchester City thought they won, but the goal was cancelled.
Disallowed, Sterling got right in the last minute. You felt the worst.
It
felt bad because you thought, oh no, we've done it again.
That was like I thought Spurs have gone Spurs again. Spurs have gone Spurs again, but that was brilliant because all the players felt that moment. It was
Okay.
a miraculous moment. They were all shocked. They cried. That is why when we lost in the final, it hurts to the bone the most. It hurts to the bone. I mean,
The final was like, come on. After watching
yeah.
it for 10, after watching it after 5 minutes and watching next man get a handball, like he was looking at it and going, "I'm going to kick you in the hand with the ball." Simple as that. Still, all four of us, have identified Poch's era as being one of those moments where we enjoyed the football we were watching. We felt a connection with the team. As fans, we all united with a sense of pride that we're watching these new young guns coming through, these homegrown players. We had Delhi coming through, we had Kane coming through. You know, these are young, hungry players. If that period of time was bringing something to you, surely, you know, I mean, it's not a possibility that Levy just tripped over himself and then smacked himself on the head and accidentally all happened. Is there not some sense of pride that we associate with the club, with the people running it during that period of time, no matter how bad we thought maybe, or was that just before we gave up? That was the last hurrah. We gave that to him, and then, you know, we see what it is now, right? So during that period of time, were you not at least a little bit happy with the management at the top for what they were doing? Stellis.
I think it's two things. Yeah, I think it's two things. Is there a lag on my thing, or is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay. We can hear you. Just your video's a bit of a lag, but don't worry, we can hear you clearly. There you go. You're crystal clear.
Okay. So I think what it is when I was growing up, money wasn't the main factor in football, and football was free. You used to watch it on terrestrial TV. There's only 4 channels, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
Now we've got thousands of channels, streaming apps, pay-per-view subscriptions, international channels, and football it was always a business, but it's become very corporate, very entertainment, very global. So the sport has evolved into more of almost a media company, a media organization, a media world. So for Pochettino to have taken us to the closest we've been to a league title since '61, and the only time we've been to a European Cup final, he did it in an era where it was all about money, and he did it without all that money. And that's why we began to believe, because we lost belief, because we're looking at Manchester City and Chelsea's winning everything. We're looking at clubs with huge funds from their global fan base, like Man United winning trophies, and they've all got vast sums of money that we never had access to, or owners that didn't really want to put their hands into their own pocket. So for us to do it under Poch, for me, that's why the most recent memories are the best, because it was the unbelievable was becoming believable, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past, it was believable to win a cup. It was believable to win a trophy because the playing field was a lot level. Who were Man City? Who were Chelsea back then? There were nothing, absolutely nothing. So for me, that's why Poch was the greatest era. Do the club deserve some credit? It deserved credit in the sense of the recruitment was good. The recruitment was good. Dele Alli, Eriksson, Vertonghen, Alderweireld, trying to think who else at the time, Moussa Dembele, Victor Wanyama. These were good signings, man. Top signings that, you know, the kind of signings now we look at Leicester City and other clubs making, saying, why can't we spend our money on up and coming or really well scouted players? We've kind of lost the plot on that. We've gone completely the wrong direction. So you have to praise the board for having the right recruitment structure in place.
Yeah.
I think they got lucky that Pochettino turned out to be able to develop these signings into excellent players, because they weren't excellent when they came in. They were good. Poch made them even better. So that's good coaching. The one thing I will say that worked against the board, the timing of the stadium fucked us. The timing of the stadium screwed us. But the communication was awful, because Daniel Levy told us it would only take 1 year. When he should have said, look, it'll take 2. And if he did it in 1 year, he'd be a genius and a hero, because he did it before the time he said he would. And also, he did say that transfer spending would be ring-fenced,
Yeah.
And the build of the stadium would not affect our transfer policy. Well, we didn't buy any players for over for over 500 days.
Yeah.
So clearly it
And
did. So for that, so as much as I praise the rise of Poch,
Yeah.
I blame the demise and the rapid demise on the board as well.
Right. Okay. So basically, if they're going to get any kudos for taking us up, they're definitely going to take all the kudos for taking us down. And I think if you look at the culture which is in the media right now, I think everyone agrees that there seems to be more noise out there that gets us distracted away from what we're supposed to be talking about. Those areas that you can point to the board and say 100% ain't the players, it ain't the managers, it ain't your scouting network, it's you, geezer, it's you. Awesome. During those times when we were in the Champions League, popping in again and again, what was your take on the money situation? Like, I think to myself that if you're making money and you're not spending it, surely you're saving it, right?
Yeah.
Or businesses don't work that way. We made this money this year, we didn't spend it, we keep it now, we're going to put it in our pocket. Thank you. Bye. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I'm gonna because the way Levy operates, it keeps the finances and everything on the down low, like closed up. You can really dig into the sports to find out anything, to really go deep. But I'm gonna use Chelsea as an example.
Okay,
Remember, Chelsea was banned for 2 seasons, right? And during that 2 seasons, they saved quite a lot of money, and they spent 264 million. I'm talking about dollars now, for transfer back to back, and brought all this German fast playing, attacking, progressive player in. Instead of that, if you look at those periods, they saved. But during those periods, we didn't see the money, and we turned around and went to loan money to build a stadium. To me, that's what somebody do as an act of distraction. Oh, they're about to find out that I embezzled the money, but let me find another loophole. Oh, we are building a stadium. Everybody be quiet. We are building a stadium. But the overachieving of the players, that is why the overachieving of the players have made everything so unbelievable. Because right now, the level at which the England game is at is so at a higher level, way high, super high, than the way we are in right now. The game is so high, it's so fast. I can't see Dele Ali running through us back to back or running back to back non-stop. But I can see Skylar, right? That's his name, right? Skylar running back and forth to try to press. That's the difference. You have to press. So we don't. I mean, when it comes to the finance, like now I'm looking at, I said the gross total right now is the gross debt total is 831 million as of now. That's
the total.
That's the total gross debt. But it says with 100, and I'm just saying that's the gross, not the actual amount. The actual amount is 1.17 pounds billion altogether. But the gross amount is the gross as in how much income, whatever, that is at debt right now, which other debt, they said, is 831 million pounds with 140 hold as transfer debt. When you do transfer, you make a deal. I'll be paying you bit by bit. It's 140, 140 owed as transfer debt, and 96 in tax debt, and 9 million in.
Awesome. Can I interrupt you there for a second? What we need to do with that particular type of information is we need to have it printed on the screen so we can look at the stats there rather than being read out. So I just want to move this on just 1 minute. So keep your finger on that one. Brian.
Yep.
You've been a fan long enough to remember when Enoch bought the club and there was a splash of cash from the Premier League.
Yep.
And getting into Europe kind of gave you a bit more extra splash. But the formula that I can see that Levy has pulled is that by getting into Europe and having internationals in your team, your club profile worldwide is actually making you money. It's not just the fact that you get X amount of money from the European, Europa or the Champions League. Now, when the cash was flying in, and Spurs was like, you know, in the Premier League, was there an expectation? Did you feel an expectation that you expected more from the board in terms of how they spent on players, or did you feel them being reluctant?
You just have to look at Daniel Levy's notes when he came first into the club.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying that money will be made available. Now, you've got to remember, back then, the money was nowhere near what we were talking about now. Nowhere near. Yeah. So deals could have been done easier. But what people seem to forget is ENIC started their sleight of hand, smoke and mirrors effect from the very moment they started. Because the first thing they did, just like they just did to Mourinho, they got rid of George Graham the week before we played Arsenal in an FA Cup semi-final. Now, George Graham would have had that already, but what he did and what he saw is, let me get rid of an Arsenal manager and hire God. Let me hire Glenn Hoddle. Because that'll be my first thing I do as a chairman. I get rid of someone from the filth and I bring in the greatest player of all time. Kind of like when Man City were bought by the Sheiks, the first thing they went and did is bought Robinho. Which no one thought was like, whoa. They
expensive contract.
Yeah, straight away, bang, there you go. This is what it takes. Whether that transfer worked or not, which it didn't, just like with Glenn Hoddle. But their sleight of hand started, and their smoke and mirrors started as soon as they walked through the door. And
so was that their attempt to get in with the fan base?
Of course.
Keep everyone quiet.
Of course. I mean, if you think you've come into a club, like I said, Alan Sugar did a lot of good. We wouldn't be having this show right now if it wasn't for Alan Sugar, because there would be no Tottenham Hotspur. Simple. Yeah. It was that bad for Spurs back then.
Correct.
We none of us, Tottenham away would be there. We are Tottenham. You've also got to remember, Alan Sugar brought a world-class player like Jurgen Klinsmann to the club. Oh, yeah, and I'm talking world class. All right, it was only 2 million. It was only 2 million. He went and got him. Alan Sugar built the Paxton and the Park Lane. Remember, I know, yes, Levy's built a whole stadium, but he built that. There was another season when we had a 12-point deduction. Excuse me, we were kicked out of the FA Cup and had a fine. Alan Sugar went to war for us, and I mean went to war. Yeah. First of all, got us back in the FA Cup at a 6-point deduction. And Sugar said, I'm still not having that, and got all the points removed, so we had no point deduction. So that's Alan Sugar, and we won 2 trophies in that decade.
Oh, my day. Stop mentioning trophies. So, I don't want to do a trophy every game.
Don't get me wrong. Then you look at. Then we go back to ENIC. The very first transfer they made was Sergei Rebrov.
Okay.
Now, that was a big transfer, and back then he was a blooming hotshot and one of the greatest or the hottest talents in Europe. But one of the reasons he was the hottest talent in Europe, because he played like the Teddy Sheringham role behind Shevchenko.
Yeah.
And that's why, because he had Shevchenko, anyone could be alongside Shevchenko, you could make him great. But we brought Sergei Rebrov in and said, no, you're the number 1 striker, off you go. And we didn't play, even, I'll go back, when we signed Soldado.
Poor guy.
So Soldado, you've got to remember, we bought Soldado, who had scored, him, Messi and Ronaldo were the only people to score over 20 La Liga goals in the season 5 years in a row. The way that Soldado scored his goals was playing off a big man in a 4-4-2, wingers getting down the side, crossing the football, and he's there to get him in. Like an Ian Wright, like a Gary Lineker. What do? We bring him in and say, yeah, I know you play with 2 strikers, you've scored 20 goals a season. Well, you're now going to play by yourself, and the runners behind us are like Frank Lampard's and people are going to run past you, so you're now going to drop off. And it's like, well, that's not how I play football. And at that time, we had Andros Townsend that wouldn't cross a football because he was a greedy bastard, and we had Aaron Lennon that couldn't cross a football because it only went to the first man on the first one. So everything, even the thing is as well, the finances, if you look at it, Manchester United, since Ferguson have left, have spent more money than we did on our stadium on transfers.
Yeah, but wouldn't you say back then that there was like the way transfer deals were done, the agents weren't as prolific as they are now?
No, it should have been easier.
And the politics of where some players go and where they come from kind of interferes with that. Stelios,
guys, can I tell you something about transfers? Right, I used to have a friend that worked for an agency where they would manage the players, basically football agents, and he was one of their agents. Anyway, true story. Harry Redknapp, the club were going to sell Didier Zocora to a Spanish club. I can't remember the name. Brian Daigle, do you remember the club Zocora went to when he left us?
He went to a Turkish team.
Was it Villarreal?
Yes. Yeah, I think you're right. Let me just find out. I think you're right. But he's in Turkey. He was in Turkey.
Spanish club, yeah. Anyway, well, he was going to go to a Spanish club, but what happened at the time was the sorry, pardon. So the manager would authorize the transfer.
Sevilla.
Now,
that's it.
Yeah, I use a Spanish club because I know the agent that did this, because I went to university with him, and he basically he couldn't get the transfer through because back then the manager of the football team would want a percentage of the deal backhand. Okay, please remember when this Rosie 66666 account. Do you remember with Harry Redknapp? Okay. Now, the owner of the company, of the agency, the football agency, refused to get involved in a deal like that because it was apparently too shady for her. Now, my friend said to her, "Look, yeah, Mr. K."
I was going to say, you keep breaking up every now and again. Do you want to come out of the stream and come back in again? That'd be okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to give that one little bash?
Yeah.
In the meantime, awesome. Players and contracts.
Can I make a quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Can I
Jump
make
in.
a quick comment?
Go for it.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Brian a question. It says during Manchester United, I've spent more money in transfer than we have spent on our stadium.
Since my question
would be, and my question is, where is the money going?
So, do you know what, Awesome? I actually wanted to come back to your question as well, because your example you gave with Chelsea is something that needs to be explored and discussed a lot more. I remember the embargo, and what I loved about Frank Lampard is he bought people like Mason Mount, he fully gave Tammy Abraham, he started giving these youngsters, Billy Gilmore, he started giving them a go. Now, yes. We haven't done that, but the thing is, what happened is after that embargo didn't last 2 years. I think it only lasted that January, like that summer, that January. This year they could start signing. Roman Abramovich went, okay, here you go, fill your boots up, bang, off you go. Carl Havertz, Timo Werner, Gary, what's his name, from Chilwell, Ben Chilwell. These are, I'm just mentioning three of the players. They said Mendy, the goalkeeper.
Yes.
The money, it was like, there you go. I mean, we all know Abramovich has got money to burn anyway. But the fact is, like Awesome said, they had that embargo. They banked money. And also, remember, they had the money from the Hazard sale the summer before. So when that did become available, let's support the team.
Guys, there's something very, very important. Now we're talking about teams, and we're going to bring Stelios back as well. There's something very important that I want to tell the viewers. This is kind of really important. Will Stewart has the Williams Rangers. These are the patrons that make it all possible on this channel. We've got Spartan7 Gaming, we've got Wayne Bonner, we've got Mama Coates, Salary Agent, AG, Goguma, and Tony Coe. Welcome. These are the patrons that are basically providing for Will and the back end of this particular channel. I thought I'd give them a big shout out. Thank you very much, guys. Just for them. Let's go.
I got broads in Atlanta, just got me in the family, credit cards in the stamps, getting no list in the bank, legacy.
All right, guys, that's the patrons out the way. And Stelios, I'll let you continue about the transfer talks.
Can you tell me if the voice thing's okay now or not?
No, you're perfect. Your video's fantastic. It's not as clear as Brian's. Brian's got some sort of extra 4K going on here.
It's Samsung. You pay for what you get for with Samsung.
That's it. And Awesome's got a discotheque in his background, so that's fantastic. I mean, have a guess where I am right now.
looks really nice and sunny where Brian is.
Oh, mate, do you know what? Honestly, Toronto the last few days has been absolutely boiling. They're actually saying for the next couple of days, humidity is going to feel like it's 34 degrees.
Yeah, it
So
looks
I'm
nice.
happy.
Looks nice. Yeah, where was I? Yeah, so this football agent couldn't get the deal through because his boss didn't want to get involved in a deal that involved the manager taking a percentage, because the agency would have to transfer the money into the bank manager's account.
Yeah.
And then the manager, once he's seen the money in his account, would then say to the chairman at the time, Levy, yeah, we can sell Zakora, I don't want him. That's how it would work, okay? And it wasn't just Harry Redknapp, there was a lot of managers doing this. Anyway, Zakora ended up changing agents because they couldn't get the deal through. So my mate quit being a football agent because unless you worked for a boss or you were an agent on your own that was prepared to do these deals, you couldn't get any transfers done. And you don't make money as an agent unless the transfer gets done. So, and the way this would work is the agency would transfer money to an ice cream factory as a sponsor. The ice cream factory would then sponsor a lorry company. The lorry company would then do a delivery job for a potato supplier, and the potato supplier would then sponsor Harry Redknapp for doing a commercial. So there's layers and layers and layers and layers of the transaction, and everyone's taking a little slice, and that's how the managers never got caught.
That reminds me.
Right. Anyway, this is absolutely, but this wasn't down to the chairman. The chairmen weren't aware of all this. In fact, it's the modern day chairmans that have come in and they've cleaned up all of this. That's why you've got super agents now. They'd rather work directly with the agent and cut out these layers and layers and all these different people. Look, I don't know the exact shape of the industry now.
Yeah.
But what I do know is that's one thing chairmen have cleaned up in the industry is a lot of that. Although now what you've got is the chairmen are now doing it. The chairmen are now doing these deals.
Times are hard, man. Times are hard.
So where the agents were siphoning the money, you've now got the Abramoviches, the Sheikh Mansours. We're going to sponsor our own stadium with our own money, 300 million from this company over there, and so you've cleaned up the agents a bit, and now you've got the chairman doing it.
So, no, it's so right now, just while you were gone, Awesome was just telling us about that situation with Chelsea. Awesome, you want to continue with that right now?
Yeah, I asked Brian a question, and Brian was in the middle. I was saying that Brian, what we were talking about originally was Brian. Brian said he's gonna elaborate. You're gonna elaborate more on that. I want to explain that. But the question I asked was during the. You said Manchester United have spent way much money than Levy ever even said he built the whole stadium. That is every little thing now. Are you gonna spend money? Oh, it's the stadium. Are you gonna spend any money? Oh, we just built the stadium. Are we gonna spend money? We just built the stadium, you know. And I was asking him that he should explain what he meant by that. Then he was in the middle of that. So Brian, you can proceed again.
Yes, no, like I was just saying, it's just like basically it's like Stel was saying just now with money laundering at the highest order.
Basically, yeah.
That's what it is. Let's call it as it is.
It is it's true.
Joe Lewis, I've just checked. Joe Lewis is worth the same amount as the Glazer family. Yeah, they could spend $1 billion. And apparently, Joe Lewis has a £1 billion, not dollars, not euros, £1 billion, £1 billion art collection.
Arts, really?
Which is money laundering at the highest order.
Yeah.
Like Stel said,
I bet none of that artwork is of Spurs winning any trophies.
No. I can guarantee you it's not in his super yacht. It's in the Cayman Islands somewhere. But yeah, when you look at it, Manchester United have gone and spent £1 billion on players since Ferguson left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
We spent $1 billion, or I say we spent $1 billion. Tottenham haven't even spent $1 billion. Daniel Levy and Joe Lewis haven't even spent $1 billion. They put us $1 billion or £1 billion in debt.
Yeah.
Because all this debt,
leverage.
we're not under this debt isn't under the name of Enoch. It isn't under the name of Tavistock. It's under the name of Tottenham Hotspur. And the thing that really gets to me as well is, like Stel said, this is one of my most hated reasons for why I hated Levy. When he came out and said, "Oh our transfer policy is not going to be affected because this money is here, and the transfer money is here." So unless his transfer policy was to sign no one, then obviously it didn't affect transfers. But it's just like I said, you look at it, Man U have not invested that money wisely at all. If you look at the billion, and we try and think since they left, they did well in signing Zlatan Ibrahimovic when he came. He was a great buy for the season that he was there. You look at Bruno Fernandes. And now I'm struggling to think of great signings that Man U made that have actually paid off during that time, because they brought people through like Rashford and everything. It's recruitment.
A lot of waste.
It's recruitment. And the thing is, everyone keeps saying, "Oh, do you know what? Let's bring in a technical, a football director to come in and bring it in." And then I'll just say to you, Kamoli, Baldini, and Mitchell.
And Arneson.
And Arneson as well, yeah. Arneson, who left for Chelsea. Arneson was doing fantastic. Went to Chelsea. Why did he go to Chelsea? Oh, there's a billionaire that will understand what I'm saying. Paul Mitchell. Why did he leave? Because we wanted people like Sadio Mane, because we needed someone strong and fast in attack, and we get Musa Sissoko. When Pochettino first came, the greatest one is he said one of the first two signings I want you to make is Wanyama or Schneiderlin. I had them at Southampton.
Yeah,
I know them. They're world class. It's what I need. They'll deliver. Oh, okay. I'll take that into consideration. You need a defensive midfielder. Let me go and buy Benjamin Stambouli. He wanted another defender from Villarreal. I can't remember his name. He got an awful ankle. No. He got a really awful ankle injury. We were after him. It was like called Macunio or something like that. I can't remember his name, but he got a really like David Boost injury that was awful. But this was after we went for him. So he goes, okay,
Macunio.
Something like that, yeah. It's like, okay, so I see what you want.
Are you making these names up or something?
No, I'll find the name. It did begin with an M. That's all I know, and it was an Argentinian. And it's like, okay, so you want an Argentinian, big, strong central defender? I will buy you Frederick Fazio. These are the kind.
Fazio came out of that. Oh
we were going for a proper Argentinian defender, but then he bought Frankenstein the Monster to come and play in defense for us. It's like you look at our recruitment under Paul Mitchell, we were signing people.
Maurizio Tarico was a cracking signing.
Oh mate, he was a psychopath. He was an absolute psychopath. But yeah, this is the thing. Every time we've had a good director of football, we've started going up places. And every time that we have not backed them or not said, okay, this is your job, I know this is what you do best, we've got rid of them, and they've all been because of Levy. And it doesn't matter if we get a director of football in. We're now. This is how class our football club is. That guy at Bayern, what's the German name? Radic or whatever his name is. Ragniak. So yeah, we've been crying out for a director of football for years. All of a sudden, he becomes favourite to be a manager. He hasn't managed for 10 years. He's been a football director for 10 years. So I'm like, I tell you what, why don't you hire him in the position he's... It's a nonsense.
Brian, can you see a pattern? Let's bring in a checkbook manager, but not give him the checkbook. Let's bring in a manager to replace him that's never managed before, Ryan Mason. Now let's bring in a director of football to become a manager.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for Joe Hart to go up front on tomorrow, or that's all we need now. Put Harry Kane in goal for his last couple of games. Why not?
It's Harry Kane's testimonial tomorrow.
I'm going to be outside wearing. I'm going to be outside wearing one of these.
Yeah, me too, man.
There's going to be two bad guys outside. But no, we had some. Look, it wasn't all doom and gloom in the last 20 years. So, I want to touch upon some of the points that weren't doom and gloom.
It really was doom and gloom. We've won nothing. Other than beating Chelsea in the Carling Cup final, What's
Yeah.
there to really be, you know? Do you know? I don't like it when fans say, "I would never ever trade a trophy for the memory of scoring the last-minute winner in Ajax." Let me tell you something about that game. In 10 years' time, no one's going to give a shit about that game in Ajax. Nobody's going to care about it.
Apart from me. Apart from me.
The
You go out.
but can I? But
That game is downloaded.
Can
I have it.
can I chip in on one thing? I would say though, for some reason, regardless of what it is, guys, regardless of what it is, regardless of what it is, I felt this season, the players, I'm not even talking about crappy board ownership. God, the players should have done this for themselves. Like, forget about it. We had 10 chances to even be on the top of the league. After we dropped drastically, we blew it. Because some players were trying to take it out on Jose. I mean, this is for you. Just win one cup. Just win one thing. Just win something. Just one. That's all we ask. We didn't ask for 10. We didn't ask for 5. We didn't ask for 2. We didn't ask for Carabao League. We didn't ask for FA Cup. We didn't ask for all of it. Which you could have get to.
Awesome. How do you win the cup when you sack the manager 6 days before the final?
You know what's worse than that? Awesome's right. The number of times we've had this season where
you had a chance.
people around us have fallen down.
Just win it. Just win it. Just win it.
Just win that one game.
I mean, my pressure was so high. Like, please, just win. Just get there. Just get it. Just 1 point. Just
Awesome.
1 point. Even West Ham blew it that week. Remember that week that West Ham blew it? That everybody thought, oh, we lost it. Oh my God, we can never make top 4. And West Ham and everybody on that, the 4, 5, 6 messed up, and we're so excited. Like, yes, we should take that chance again, and we blew it again. I mean, it's just the players. I feel like we know the board is messy. The players should have done it for themselves. Just for themselves. Then after that, everybody can leave. They say, "Oh,
Awesome.
I've achieved
Can I ask you a
something,
question?
and I will leave."
Can I ask you a question, Awesome?
Yes.
In December, we were top of the league for 4 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
We went 10 games unbeaten. We were the talk of the town. We were being touted as Premier League title contenders. The players were doing their business.
Yeah.
What happened?
To me personally, I think it's two things that happen. You want to tell you what are the two things? I think number one thing was the fans. There are some certain fans that are like being how should I say, the best.
But there's no fans in the stadium.
Like,
there's no fans in the stadium.
But there's no fans in the stadium, but the fans are using, I won't say, the fans and the press. I would say the press and the fans. Like, oh, this game is so boring. We don't like the game. But guess what? We were on number 1 on the table. But people were like saying, oh, this game is, yes, the game is boring. And the reason why the game is boring was because of one reason. One reason. You want to know what the reason is? It was the West Ham game. It was the West Ham game. That's when Jose said,
is it more than
defense
that?
is not.
Is it more than
Should I
that?
tell you what happened?
But I'm saying that is what made Jose. That was the decision that made Jose said, I'm going to play 7 in the back. That's why Jose said, I'm going to leave 7 in the back. I'm not going to leave 5. I'm not going to leave 4. I'm going to leave 7 in the back. It was because of that West Ham game.
Let me tell you what. I'll tell you what happened, okay? We played this, the system that we were playing that was working well for us was 4-2-3-1. It was a very pragmatic defensive system, but when we did break, we broke with fierce, quick, ruthless attacking play. Now, as soon as he changed that system, as soon as he caved in to the fans and the media, oh, this is boring, this isn't the Tottenham way, as soon as he went to that system, the whole thing went to shit.
Yeah.
He had the players on the pitch playing the football the way he wanted, the way he felt the team had to play, because we couldn't do this free-flowing attacking football because we were too frail at the back. When Daniel Levy didn't want to buy a world-class centre-back, like he said, he knew, I've got to be a bit more pragmatic than what I want. And he found a system that was working. On top of that, when an injury or a suspension happened, we didn't have the quality off the bench to come on and replace those positions. So it meant he had to play Højbjerg every single game, every single competition, because there is no replacement for that. If Reguilon gets injured, like he did over that period, There's no quality wing back that gives us that counter-attacking play like you had. So the reason I feel it fell apart, one, we didn't get the players Jose wanted, and two, Jose, and this is where I blame the manager, he caved in to that pressure you talk about, and to the fans who were saying, we want attacking football. Jose's not that manager, man.
Yeah, but isn't there like a situation here where, fair enough, the West Ham game, right? Yeah, kind of pulled the pants
That
out.
happens. That happens.
But the thing is, I agree with you. I think that was something that, if it wasn't drummed out of the team, then it was something that was always needed to be tackled. What I felt, right, yeah, was that the team was riding high at the top, confidence was high, expectation became higher. Now, people behind the scenes were saying, hold on a second, you're playing all these players on the pitch, right, yeah, but we're not seeing certain talents that we paid a lot of money for and that we need them to get them internationally out there. Why don't you start playing this guy? Why don't you start playing that guy? Now, when
that West Ham United game, United game, the reason we lost it is because two stupid errors, including an own goal from Davinson Sanchez. I go back to what I said 2 minutes ago. We didn't have the like-for-like replacements when a player got injured. Sanchez wasn't the starting centre-back in that 4-3-2-1 system. As soon as we had to change a player, we're fucked because we didn't get the players Jose wanted. Sanchez in that game scored an own goal and cost us the one before that. That's where we lost the game.
And
no, stop reminding me about Sanchez.
No. And to be honest
sorry,
with
guys,
you,
I'm just saying.
To be honest with you,
that's what
To be honest with you, some of these players that we are so adamant about, why Jose is playing 7 in the back, is because they were third choice on the porch. They were third choice, not first choice, not second choice, third choice. I mean, what would you expect?
Dyer never played under. Dyer was dropped for 2 years under.
If you are playing a third choice player, that's why you don't have a defense. The only way Sanchez can function is he needs somebody like screener beside him, a super experienced defender to tell him, you go forward, I got this. This is where I need to be, this is where I need you to stay, this is where I need to stay. But if you are out of position, you cannot catch up to the game. Like, for example, now Brendan Rodgers. I want Brendan Rodgers today with Chelsea. Brendan Rodgers just won the FA Cup, and today they got beaten slightly. If they had at least extra 5 minutes, you can tell the way the game ended that if we had an extra 5 minutes, Chelsea, Rudiger had to make a mess of the field so that they won't have that 5 minutes. And the 5 minutes was over. If they had that 5 minutes, it would have been a draw.
Well, to be fair, Leicester City missed a pretty easy chance in the 89th minute. They smashed it over the bar.
They smashed it over the bar. But other than that, they would have even won the game if they had an extra 5 minutes. But guess what? Brendan Rodgers was coached, trained by Jose Mourinho.
That's not true.
Brendan Rodgers was under Jose Mourinho.
That's not true.
No, I'm saying when Jose won the second time in Chelsea, Brendan Rodgers was under Jose Mourinho.
Brendan Rodgers learned a lot from Jose Mourinho. Where he really learned was in Spain when he was a coach in Spain, and he learned we call it the 5 P's of possession, and he learned the Spanish possession game. Which, if you go and watch Liverpool when he was manager, Liverpool phenomenal when he has the football. He got AVB sacked because he brought his Liverpool team to. I was at that game. We lost 5-0. We lost 5-0.
Mourinho got sent off.
Time was gone.
But Brendan Rodgers, he's learned from a number of managers. Mourinho was one of them.
Just to let the audience know. Can I just ask the audience? Sorry, guys. Viewers, if you're watching out there, this is Three Wise Men. We're hosting underneath the William Stewart THFCRants channel. And basically, we have 3 hosts, myself, Brian Daigle, and Awesome You. And we are the 3 wise men for this particular show. The whole theme of this program. The whole theme of this program is to basically educate you guys and educate ourselves. Become enlightened with that knowledge. Hopefully inspire other people to do the same thing that we're doing over here. Pass on the knowledge. Pass on that rod. We're all connected by the fact that we love the club. And today's guest we've had over here for the last 50 minutes is Stelios. You may have seen him on Sky as a wanted man, dressed up as a clown, you see. Obviously, he got very upset he didn't get the Batman role. So it became this one instead, yes. For those of you that are watching, please do smash a like on this video if you possibly
Please do.
can.
Mr.
If you absolutely have nothing stopping you from doing so, just go and press the like. If, on the other hand, you're sitting there and you're thinking, hey, man, these guys are a giggle, hit the subscribe, push it up a little touch. You know, it really goes a long way. After the first hour of the show, this show is only 2 hours long, but after the first hour, I will be throwing the link into the chat, and I think we can have something like maybe like 2 more people in here, make it 6. Yeah, I think once it goes a bit further than that, it needs to be like late night rants, and I don't think we've got the sort of stomach for that right now.
Mr. K,
in the last,
I have a question for you.
Go on then.
I just wanted to ask you, have you seen the movie Rain Man?
Yes, I have.
Do you know what? I think Brian Daigle's Rain Man.
Why?
No.
Because
Why?
Daigle knows how to chat to a lady.
No, because you know Brian Daigle, right? I've noticed this recently, and tonight confirmed it. I think he's got the best football memory out of anyone I know. How the fuck did you remember Paulinho got a red card?
Oh, mate, do you know what?
In 2013, when we lost 5-0, man. How did you remember that?
So I'll tell you something about my football memory.
You're Rain Man. You're Rain Man.
There is a app called QuizUp that all my workmates used to have, and you could play anyone around the world. And you can choose any category.
Yeah.
I got no one, and I mean no one in the world would play me on Tottenham Hotspur because I got to such a high level. Mate, I still remember word for word perfect the Paul Gascoigne commentary when he scored that free kick against Arsenal. I pretty much know every single football stat and football when it comes to Gaza. And when it comes to Tottenham Hotspur, believe me, if I was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Tottenham Hotspur edition, I will walk away with $1 million. Why do you think I've won the 4 quizzes on We Are Tottenham TV?
You do this all the time. I'll say something like, "Oh, I remember in 2006 when we got a penalty against Everton," and Brian will go, "Oh yeah, that was the game. There was a corner flag missing."
That's why I needed him on this channel, because if there's going to be details,
you need
details to remember things. Paulinho, I mean, he left us, and he went on to successful. He went to Barcelona, right?
He did. He went somewhere first. I think
he left us. He left us, and he went to play for Barcelona.
Mr. K, everyone leaves us to become successful.
Yeah, look, George, Kevin, and Kudu has just won a Turkish league. That's how bad it's got. People are going to Turkey to win titles.
Yeah.
Jermaine Defoe has won a Scottish league. Jermaine Defoe, who's just turned 83 this week, has just won his first title at Rangers. It's like literally anyone. Honestly, there was a tweet since Levy has been charged. 87 players have left to gone on and win major honours. 87.
Somebody showed me a list of that the other day, and I was like shocked, like seriously shocked.
Well, the thing I was thinking, I'm trying to remake a video. I mean, Stell will know this, but whenever you go to Tottenham and the live games are on, you've got the We Are Tottenham. And it goes, it's a trigger from Only Fools and Horses that does the speech that goes, "We are Greavesy, we are Hoddle, we are." I'm just thinking, we do one for our team now. It'll be "We are Dulux, Amazon, and Podge." It'll just be sponsorship. Yeah, it'll just be. It won't be our history of what we're doing right now. If you look at that, you're talking about our legacy. Let's use the word legacy because we are all legacy fans here. Let's remember.
We are losing.
Yeah,
we are free.
We exactly.
We are bankrupt.
We are all legacy. We're all legacy fans. Like I said, my grandpa, God bless him, could tell me about the double. My grandpa could tell me about Jimmy Greaves scoring up. My dad could tell me about Dave Mackay and watching Martin Chivers.
The UEFA Cup final in '84. My uncle.
Guys, can I ask you a question though? Can I ask you a question?
My dad drank a bottle of whiskey. He said it's the quickest he's ever drunk a bottle of whiskey in that 1984
that was a big game
final.
For us.
I was 5 years old.
Final, apparently back then.
Brian and Stell, I got about 4 minutes left on before we start chucking the panel open. But I wanted to ask this one question. Somebody asked me on Twitter the other day. They asked the question, what is a legacy fan? Now, I know that labels can get transferred and they can, people can associate different things to labels depending on where they are. But just because you guys have been like, tied down to this club from before you could think about being tied down. From your perspective, is there more than one version of the word legacy fan, or are people misabusing the word, or are they just using it as a trophy, or is there something so fundamentally genuine there that everyone needs to sit up and pay attention and pay notice that maybe some of the older fans, if they hadn't like stuck around, this club wouldn't exist for us to love. So Brian, I'll let you go first. What's a legacy fan?
So I don't know if I count as a legacy fan anymore because I live in Canada, so I might be the audience that he's trying to get. But I will always, forever go down as a Tottenham till I die. Born in North London, raised in North London. The word legacy fan, the way it's been used, is the most patronising term I think I've ever heard to describe what we've become. And as I was saying, when it comes to legacy, like I said, my grandpa and my dad told me that. Well, please God, when I have a kid, or when I go back home and tell my 4 nephews about the great times that I can remember. What can I remember? The season when we didn't sign anyone, where we had electrical heaters in the seats, where we had a pitch underneath the pitch. They're great memories I can tell the upcoming Spurs fans. It's just the legacy fan. If it wasn't for people like my grandpa, like my dad, like my mum, like all of our families and people around the world that support Spurs, Levy wouldn't have this platform to spout his venom and spout his poison. He's got a lot to learn. And I'm hoping the legacy fans tomorrow, all 10,000 of them or however many do get in there, do not go in there to give him any. Believe me, I wouldn't go in there because obviously my stance on it. But if I was in there, I would give Levy 90 minutes of pure hell. Pure hell. For calling us a legacy fan, that's just so patronising, and everything else that's gone with it.
Is that so? Do you think? I mean, I don't remember that word being like used so much. I'm not saying that the word doesn't exist. It's just that has people come along to put the wrong connotation upon it. Stelios, what can you explain in a more simple terms for the viewers that are new, maybe on the other side of the world, who don't know about these terms, don't know what the hoo-ha is? Could you basically say what is a legacy fan, and do you feel that maybe over recent times it's been used as a weapon against other people?
A legacy fan is a brand new term. It's only been around for a very, very a short number of weeks. Essentially, when the European I don't expect.
I thought you were about to say a short amount of years or something. Then you went a short amount of weeks. That's how bad this is.
Yeah, I know. And it's true. It's just like we're talking about it like it's been around for 5 years and it's a hidden code that no one knew about.
Yeah, I was wondering when I was going to get my introduction, but no, it is not happening. Carry on.
No, a legacy refers to when the European Super League the attempt was made by the top 6, the top, the 12, 16 clubs that all tried to break away. Essentially, what the argument was, it's more about playing the best teams every single week rather than playing away at Brighton or playing Burnley at home, which is part of your normal league season. And what they said that era of playing all these random, not so good teams as part of your season, that's for the legacy fans. It's nostalgic. It's all part of their history, and they've been around for 150 years. And we care about those clubs as much as we care about our club, and we want the pyramid system. Whereas the non-legacy fans, which I'm guessing would be the opposite, it's just about watching your team play Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich every single week, Manchester United, Arsenal. You don't care about those other games. So the term legacy fans refers to people that are stuck in that nostalgic world. And the future isn't that. The future is just playing the best teams every single week. Don't worry, we won't get relegated. We'll still play them every single year. And the legacy fans took insult to that. So what you find on Twitter now is a lot of fans are calling themselves, for example, if I was a legacy fan, I'd call myself Stelios, brackets, legacy fan and proud, and then my surname Triteos. So Brian would be Brian, legacy fan and proud, Daigle. And a lot of them are now using the term legacy fan as a big kind of fuck you back to people that have created this term. And I will be honest with you, it is insulting, like Brian said, because the European Super League, all those clubs wouldn't even be clubs if it weren't for the legacy fans. And can I just add, the reason Tottenham Hotspur, and I'll keep it relevant to our club, exists is because during the shit times, for 30 years we won fuck all, it's the legacy fans that stuck by the club through thick and thin. Just, don't bite the hand that feeds you, because it will come back to bite you. And that's a message to all clubs that, or fans or people in the media that want to start using this legacy fan. Basically, a good way of saying it is respect your elders, man.
Yeah. Guys, I'm going to have to start opening up the panel soon, because I think people are starting to come in. Viewers, if you are looking, please do smash that like. And if you're not subscribed, why are you not subscribed? What are you doing over here? Come on, smash that subscribe button too. Come and watch us with the Three Wise Men. New show, Tuesday nights, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. GMT.
I don't know, I lost the plot. Rain Man.
I can't even do it. Wait,
Can I ask, Brian?
the new dance.
I got it.
Can we make this the new Wise Men dance?
Anyway, I'm sponsored to say that, but by Will. Like and subscribe. You know what? Originally I was thinking to myself, I was going to tell people, don't like, don't subscribe. Just write the word ENIC out in the comments. That's all I want you to do.
Can I tell you what I tried to do?
Comments.
Can I tell you what I tried to do? I started doing that, as in the like button's down there. Then I realised it was thumbs down. So I then put it to thumbs up, and I thought, hold on, I'm not pointing where the like button is. So I thought, right, that's pointing to the button, and that's the thumbs up. And I started doing that.
Mate, do you know what? That was getting so complicated for me. It was
That
like
is a Spurs thing, bruv. That's a Spurs thing to do. You didn't get it right this way. You didn't get it right that way. You invented a third way, and it's wrong either way.
Let's all do the deli.
So listen, I'm going to chuck this link out into the comments, okay? And if anybody wants to come onto the show, please. Yep, ENIC out. I love that already. James has got James has got this. Where are we? Where are you, James? There you are, James. That's it. He thinks it's very funny that ENIC is out. Here we go. We want everything out.
Yep.
Bear it all out today. Okay.
ENIC can't leave his house.
And
he missed Hitchin out. She said Hitchin in.
One of the reasons why I never used to have. Oh my days! This is the hardest part of doing this, is going a whole hour without a cigarette. We did that. You remember that? You remember that 7-hour stream we did? I did 3.5 hours without a cigarette that day. That was the longest I just.
Listen, if you want a cigarette break, we can run it for you for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Listen.
I'm joking, by the way. I'm joking.
I was about to go, mate. Right. Okay. So I'll put the link out there. It's in the stream. If anybody does want to jump on, we're going to be carrying on talking about.
Put it on the screen, Mr. K. Put it on the screen.
Yep, it's right there. There we go. That one there. Okay. Type that out if you want to. Click onto it if you can. Scroll up into the thing. All right. Joe and Luce out. We've got, I think they're starting to get a little bit of activity. I know there's a couple of shows that were running earlier, and there was a lot of people that were in there. Maybe if we started a little bit later, but at the end of the day, I really want to get that 1 hour before midnight to connect with the UK-based fans, and then the 1 hour after midnight to connect with the overseas fans. But I'm not really. I mean, I've heard this explanation about the legacy, but I'm just thinking to myself, are we in that situation where we've got so many bad things going on? We've got to find out whose fault it is. We've got to turn around and say, look, it wasn't us. We've been through this club thick and thin, right? So who is it? Oh, it's you new guys, because you guys brought all the money in. Damn you. Why'd you bring money in? Is it as simple as that, or is it just a case of knowledge, pride? Is there a case that a lot of the fans that we've got, this so-called 180 million fans that we have worldwide, are they just like regular people who just like to watch a bit of telly and they're thinking, you know what, soccer looks a bit nice, football looks a bit nice. Oh, I know, I'll support that team over there. And it's not the same.
I'll tell you a story about the foreign fan base. So as you know, I now live here in Canada. I've lived here for 3 years, but I actually came here to get married in 2014. I came over here for 2 weeks, then I came back home and waited for my wife's visa to be approved. She came back to live with me. So we got married in 2014, which was the Brazil World Cup, where England were horrific. but this is how big the fan base was. I was in a shopping mall down in Toronto. I was in the Eaton Centre, and out of nowhere, I saw a guy wearing a Tottenham Hotspur shirt. So it was the first time I saw a Tottenham Hotspur shirt, apart from mine that I was wearing. I went up to him and I went, you know. He ran away as if I was about to mug him.
Sounds about right.
He literally ran a million miles. It's like, what the hell is this dude? That's how. Now, don't get me wrong. Spurs have become huge here in Canada. I couldn't believe how big Spurs are here. Now, obviously, a lot of that has to do with Paul Stalteri.
Yeah.
Who's actually the he's on the higher board of our Toronto Tottenham or Toronto Spurs. They also get a big following, obviously, because Steve Nash, the basketball player, is a huge Tottenham. His mum or dad were born in Tottenham. I can't remember which one. So the football has been getting huger. I know in America it's been getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but Canada, it's exploded. It's like I've never met Crystal Palace fans in my life. I've met 3 here. I'm just like, how is that even possible? I honestly, I lived all my life, never met one, and now I know 3 Crystal Palace fans. But that's football here has become huge. But a reason that it's become huge, and what Daniel Levy and Enoch have to remember, is it's become huge because of, like we said, Brian Ireland, like we said, Will, like we said, Jack. They love the pyramid system. They love the relegation, or they love the promotion, and they love that there's always something to compete for. It's not just, it doesn't matter if you come last, you get money, that's it. So a lot of these people come over to enjoy our style of and the way our games run, and they're trying to abandon it.
Yeah. Can I quickly introduce a couple of more panel people who have come in? Got Lockman over here, otherwise known as Eugene, and I got Jason over here. Always a pleasure to have you guys on.
Hello, Jason.
Did you guys have anything that was like burning a hole in your chest that you wanted to get off straight away? Give you the floor to whichever of you two speaks first. I'll come to the other one afterwards.
Jason, go ahead first. All I was going to say is it's kind of, I mean, I consider myself a legacy fan just because I support this club, because my dad supported this club, because his granddad supported. I had no choice. Like, it was Tottenham or I was getting kicked out. You know what I mean? It's just how it was.
Yeah.
But like, even now, like, I haven't met. I mean, I live in Nova Scotia, and I live in like buttfuck nowhere, Nova Scotia. So like, I haven't run into any other Tottenham fans here. But like, I've been around like friends' houses, and I'm like, oh, the game's on. So I'm sitting there watching it on my phone. And like, because I've been to the matches, I don't know, man. Like, I get very excitable when I watch football, and I've seen them watch hockey and that, and like, honestly, like the looks on their faces when I'm ranting at my phone, or I'm celebrating a goal, or like fucking past the fucking. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I was going to mention, please guys, don't try to swear too much.
Sorry.
That's all right. I was going to say that at the beginning, but unfortunately, I forgot to give the memo to Brian.
Don't give that memo to me. I'm like Gordon Ramsay on cocaine, sir. So that's not going to happen.
It's kind of like almost, I don't want to say different level, because I've also seen them get very excited about hockey, but you know what I mean? Like, they were shocked. They're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm watching a game of football. Like, you're enjoying that? I'm like, kind of. It's just, you know. But,
so, I mean, the way you've described legacy fan is pretty much the way I understood what it was. Legacy fan was somebody that the baton of Spurs was handed down to them from an older generation. Whether it was an uncle, whether it was a dad, or whether it was a brother, you know, it's basically been handed down to you. However long it goes back, that's anyone's. That, you know, what's an Englishman? It's like, you know, someone's parents are born in this country, you're born in this country, they're an Englishman.
100%.
You may look a bit brown, but unfortunately, you're still an Englishman. Call yourself British if you want to. But with legacy fan, you know, the way I look at it, personally myself, is maybe there is some people out there that are using the word legacy fan in a bad way, in a bad light. But I'm proud of the fact that there were legacy fans in the first place, because it means that there were people that came before and they held this club together, and they saw it when it was in much worse shape than we've ever seen it. So from that point of view, I mean, maybe some of the older ones is like, we remember certain times, dark times, but for what I call legacy fans, the people that were here before, they didn't have no aspirations that there was going to be a Premier League, a Champions League, Poch, ENIC, or anything like that, or even a Sugar. So, you got to give them kudos for supporting the club, being fans of the club, creating that type of, creating those things that today we take for granted, creating those chants that today we sing terribly. Maybe we need new ones to come in this new age. I think we do. I think as an identity of a fan, that's really what I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand, who are we? What are we? What type of fan base are we? Can we look at that motto of to dare is to do, and then try to translate those words into some actions or things that we do that make us distinct from someone else?
To dare is to dare is what that means now.
Well, maybe, when did it change? When was it actually true? That's more of the case. Under Poch, when the team, we're down a goal or two, they said, "No, man, we're going back after you." They're dared to do it.
One of the things that we did as a fan base, which then I think caused some controversy last year, even though I'm not sure, but the way we embraced Yido, the way we took that back from the insult and made it, no, we are. You know what I mean? I was that was a good thing to me. Because it was I can remember going away to Arsenal and all the hissing noises going on.
Yeah. I told my wife the other day I hate bullies.
Despicable. It was disgusting, but I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 80s. Was that the 80s, Jason, or the 90s?
It was the 80s.
Yeah, but that's when England we got with the hooligans. We got kicked out of Europe for 8 years. It was a pretty nasty era, the 80s, when it came to fan culture.
100%.
It was a bad.
It was the last bastion of trade unionism.
What you got to remember as well with that, what Jace was saying with the Y word is, I remember going there when David Baddiel, of all people, was trying to make this such a big thing. He was the one. He was the one that started all this. He's Jewish. That's what I'll come to. He's Jewish like myself, but he wanted to try and go for the Spurs fans for singing Yid Army as a term of endearment, as opposed to the Chelsea fans that think Spurs are on their way to Auschwitz, Sieg Heil, Hitler's going to gas them again.
Yep.
Didn't say a word about that. That was fine over there at Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
But he had to come over to us and try and do that. So what you got to look at is someone like David Baddiel tries to start a movement, but they don't look at what's going on. And we all know what Chelsea do, kicking people off trains, destroying. But this is the thing, and Jason was right. That's when Spurs fans came together. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's in disguise.
All right, we got a troll in the system here. We got a troll in the system. It's like
Neo.
Neo with a ginger beard.
What's going on?
Is that Barry White?
Is that Enoch wearing a wig, both top and bottom?
Is that Barry White?
It's not Barry White. My name's Stevie B.
Stevie B. B for Bravo. All right. So
welcome to transgender Tottenham.
It's transgender. Get it right. Transgender.
I wasn't going to put on more than 6 people. This is not.
Yeah, but when the owner of the channel wants to come on, it's kind of done it.
No, I realized that the witching hour's gone.
The witching
hour is gone, so therefore it's
Sorry, who said Stevie B's a person?
Nobody's a person. Not a person.
Right, so going back to achievements, awesome. You know what? I forgot to ask you that question earlier. What moments have you experienced that you felt an intense amount of pride in the team? And don't tell me the Champions League semi-final. Name me one example outside the Champions League final, or the semi-final.
some games, just general games, the way folks play. If you look at when the set of Yariyama, when they were there, the intensity of the game compared to now.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I'm going to use current situation right now. The current situation, if you were to ask me, who is like going to win the Euro, right? And I would say Germany is likely to be the person to win. And why am I saying that? Because the intensity of how Bayern Munich, how the Germans play, they play progressive game with a lot of fast game at the same time. And the way Tottenham used to remind me of how what's this guy? The guy that played today.
Yeah.
The team that we played the last time, and they were fast, and they remind me of that. What's the new Brian? What's the new team that just got promoted right now? They're in like position 7.
Leeds.
We just played them. Leeds. That's how Tottenham reminds me of now. They remind me of Leeds back in the days. They are very, very fast. They drive fast. They move fast. They play fast. But the result sometimes doesn't come true. That's how they remind me of. But back in the days, you are proud that anytime Tottenham is coming, you're proud. Is playing, you're proud because you want to see that intensity during punch time, the progressive. Oh, the Cowboys.
Intensity.
The Cowboys.
Intensity. I can understand when you talk about intensity. The word intensity comes out of my mind. Look, you know what it is. We've got some characters in the show that have suddenly just jumped in by themselves. I'm kind of glad that they're here because I don't know how to use this system. But I was hoping Lamella would make an appearance as well to let us know that he has passion and leaves it all on the pitch. I was hoping that Enoch would come by and say, listen, I've tried really, but, you know, if you guys don't want me, I'll take the 2 billion and keep it for myself. Lockman, you've been rather quiet since you've been on. Anything been eating you up since the last 24 hours? Anything interesting happened out there in the real world of football?
Before you say anything, I have to go. I want to hang out with my wife, but I just thought this was funny.
That's very funny.
All I can say is, Cody, I thought you were in Australia, mate.
Oh, it's Modi Quack. Great show, guys.
Someone screenshot this now.
Cody, 6 a.m.
I'm leaving too. I have to eat dinner, so I'll see you guys later.
Okay, Stevie B. See you later in your
morning.
Guys,
just want to come in and say hello and good job and no, put me on the field, coach. Put me on the field.
That's your cousin.
Yeah, he's a good dude. One of the best wingers in the Premier League.
No. It gets worse. Yeah. It gets worse.
It makes Mohamed Salah look like I don't know, a U13 player.
You need some bunification.
No, my hair's too short for a bun. I can't handle a bun. Anyway, lads, I gotta head out. I gotta go, score some touchdowns on the soccer pitch. So.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you for coming by.
Where am I? Have I been abducted?
We're the Simpsons, apparently.
Have I been abducted?
We're the Simpsons.
Am I going to wake up like aliens?
Love you guys. We'll see you at the 7th inning stretch tomorrow. Have a good one.
All right, you too, man. Protest 19th.
Yeah, protest it. Enoch out.
Listen,
that's the most random thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
I didn't expect it. Honestly, I didn't expect it. I thought they'd be sleeping. I thought they'd be taking the time to sleep or something.
I take it back. I take it all back. Will Stewart is Rain Man. Will Stewart is officially Rain Man.
Eugene, I was going to ask you the question. I was going to say, listen, you've been a fan for 40 years.
Am I a legacy fan?
No. I wasn't going to ask you about legacy. I was going to ask you the main thing, which is
yes, you're a legacy fan, sir.
40 years.
You are a legacy fan, sir.
You know how
someone giving you a baton.
I don't mind you calling me a legacy fan. Actually, I like it because it shows that I've been with Tottenham for so long, even through the ups and downs, right? And okay, sorry, Mr. K, go
That's
ahead.
amazing. That's amazing.
No.
I want to be called a legacy fan. That's brilliant. I love it.
Yeah,
That's the best thing I've heard. That's the best thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I don't care.
I think-
true. All right. To me,
that's a good thing you picked up on, because my initial understanding was that legacy was something that was passed down from one generation to the next.
40 years and I'm not even included as a legacy fan. I feel
No.
insulted.
There's somebody out there that's 14 and their parents are only 28. You know.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
They're more fan than you.
But to tell you the truth,
Yeah.
why I'm here to speak, right, is that look at the whole situation, right? Somehow or another, we found out on Saturday the disparity between the mind thoughts of the fan base, the mindset. Yes. Those who supported that, and that's a very nice mask. Yeah. Maybe all of you who go into the stadium should wear that. 10,000 of them and showed it to Levy, but I don't think that will happen because, like I said, we still have a divide in our fan base. Like I've been saying all the while, we've been abused and we accept it, especially like me. I'm 40 years of being a fan. And the past 1.5 months, I found out that I have a place to vent my frustrations. Okay?
Welcome.
Right?
Welcome.
Vent my frustrations. For being an overseas fans in part of Asia, and I think there are a lot of fans who are in Asia who doesn't have a place to vent, right?
Yeah.
So, and I found this place to vent, and somehow or another, I found a group of persons regarding race, religion, right, coming together for one cause, which is football, right? Do you know? Do you know that at the moment in the world, there's so much chaos and violence and all that, and nobody comes together to fight against it. But somehow or another, football has brought everyone together, especially during the ESL. And during the ESL, I remember during Will's show when he was getting hammered for just being pragmatic and explaining what is the system in that scenario.
No, I don't believe that narrative, because he explained himself in English and articulated it a billion times, and people wrote in the chat billions, zillion times. I think those people that came on were blatant trolls.
Yeah, no, I understand. So
Simple as that. They were trolls.
That's how I saw it. And at that time, I was also quite skeptical, and I was like saying, okay, if they really wanted to push this on, it would have gone on. But somehow or another, you see the Chelsea statement. It says something like, we are stopping this or abandoning this project because of the outroar of the global fans. That includes us who are overseas, global. Okay, but okay, let's come back to Spurs.
My question was basically this, right? Yeah, in the last 40 years, when was the last time you felt proud of your team? Proud. You felt like, I mean, it doesn't have to be something they won. Just the way they play.
Think about it, to feel proud of something we won, I have to go back quite far. 91, when we lifted the last FA Cup.
Okay, we're proud of just playing then.
But proud
just
of
playing on the pitch.
Recently being proud was actually during the Poch era, where, like you guys were talking about, we could go down 2-0 and come back in 10 minutes and all that. That was bang, bang, bang in 10 minutes and we are back up again. Yeah. We somehow or another, that was lost during end of Poch period, like you said. Maybe he felt that he got screwed by you know who, right? And he didn't feel the backing of the club and all of the board and the owners.
But the way I look at it, you don't have to be a good player. You don't have to be a fantastic player to give it all on the pitch.
Yeah.
And you know, if you look at an example of someone like Scotty Parker, for example, right? Yeah, he wasn't exactly a Lionel Messi in the midfield, but the fans loved him. Why did the fans love him? Because
let me come back to the point. All right, us fans, maybe the culture in our fan base is transcended onto the pitch. You see, the part of, how do you say, Spurs fans are a bit funny. We celebrate.
We just had a dude with a squeaky voice come on the show. Another guy called McQuack. a bit funny.
Look at this.
I'm cracking up.
Spurs have forced me to start wearing a mask in public, bruv.
We've got the Levy clown protest. We've got McQuack and Ginger Stewart.
And don't forget, we've got a DJ and free food tomorrow. That's what we've become.
We got free food. Excellent.
DJ and expired products. Food poisoning to go up in Tottenham tomorrow.
Look, man, don't think. Believe we're funny. Believe we're funny.
See, I don't
To
know
dare is
about,
to do. To
I
dare
don't know
is to
about
do.
internationally, but when I was in the UK, I wouldn't have said like our fans were any different to any other fan of any other club. Really, like my cousin, who's a Royal Arsenal fan, and so is my uncle. You know, like bang on Gooners. Like, for as much as I think they've got terrible taste in football clubs, like they were just as passionate for their club as I was for Tottenham.
Jason, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Based on what,
Yes,
on what
sir.
you just said. You just said that you think the fans are all pretty similar, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. My question to you then is, because I've failed to understand this. These protests, why are we the only club that look like an absolute shambles when it comes to the protests? All the other clubs, they're mobilising. If the fans are the same.
Yeah, see, okay, you are correct. And in that respect, we let ourselves down massively. And I haven't been in the UK in like 14 years. So
well done. You've done well there.
You know, I mean, like I moved to Canada 14 years ago, and I haven't been there since. And like the main time of me going to Tottenham was like late 80s and a lot of the time through the 90s. So I got to see some dross football in the 90s, let me tell you. But
do you know what I've noticed with our fan base?
Yeah, but pies were nice back then.
I've noticed. I tell you what, the new stadium, say what you want, the sausage rolls and the pies are bang on the money. That's the one thing he got right. The food at the new stadium is anyway. Jason,
that's
I think the pies at Nottingham Forest were quite good. I will say that for Forest. They did a good pie and mash. Their pies weren't bad. Sorry, go on. I digress.
That's what we've become. That's what we've become. We won't sign anyone, but bang, you can have a chicken balti and a sausage roll for a fucking. Oh, mate, that's how good.
20 quid.
That's how good we are. Yeah, let's just talk about the food.
Tottenham Pie Spurs.
I mean,
no, we've got to that stage where look right now the news in the last week, right? Yeah, it's like ever since that ESL, it seems that time has slowed down, and it just seems that one day is trying to top another day, and 1 week is trying to top the previous week, and it just seems to me that when is this going to end?
Serious question. Serious question. Now. I've got a serious question. I've got a serious question now. So, obviously, the supporters trust had their meeting today.
Okay.
And they said they would update us today. Well, it's gone midnight back home. There's nothing. There's been no updates.
Probably be tomorrow.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you not think that's kind of planned just before Let's see what it is.
Maybe they assassinated Levy and they're trying to hide the body.
I'm interested to know what the question was you was asking me.
No, yeah.
I was going to say what I've noticed with the Spurs fan base, because I'm a season ticket holder, unfortunately, so I get to watch this shit show live and direct. When it comes to turning up for match day, we're fantastic. When it comes to going to away games, Europe Cup, up Newcastle away on a Wednesday night, getting on the train at 2 a.m, we're brilliant. We sell it out. When it comes to buying the merchandise, the food, supporting the club, we're brilliant. When it comes to putting up with all the shit and the losses and the defeats, we come back for more. As a fan base, I would say we're as loyal as they come, if not more loyal, because when Arsenal have been going through their shit period, they empty the stadium. When Man United didn't like what was going on, they walked out the stadium. We still go to the stadium and pack it out. We've stuck for our club through thick and thin, right? But when it comes to wanting our club to progress and trying to challenge the owners and doing something, we fall apart. We absolutely fall apart as a fan base. We we're just so fragmented, and I don't get it because I look at us as fans, not just in Britain. I've described the British fans, but even abroad. Look at Lookman, Awesome, Cody Mack, Will Stewart. You know, all overseas fans. They're on YouTube channels. They love talking about. We're such a great fan base. Yet when it comes to uniting to try and sort out the shit that's going on, I don't get it, Jason, mate. I really don't. We fall apart.
Could it be a global thing? Do you think it could be a global thing?
No,
whereby the world itself, right, yeah? And those teams which are like floating at the top that have a high expectation, right, yeah? The fan base that's included in that, when things happen, they have that fire and demand. Whereas if you look at our fans, for example, we've seen a steady diet of 20 years of improvements to the infrastructure of the business of football. We've seen some go-lucky teams. We've seen some decent managers give it a bash. We've seen some amazing players that have come, moved on somewhere else, won something there. The only thing that's been consistent, right, yeah, is the fact that I don't feel that we have enough pride in our club, and the result of that is what you're seeing.
We are proud. We are proud. We turn up in numbers.
Right.
We listen. I'm lucky. I get to go to the bars and the pubs around the stadium on match day before kickoff, after kickoff. Win, lose or draw, we sell out all the high road shops. It's fantastic. It's fun. Even with the new stadium, the way they've done the South Stand, it's an amazing party atmosphere. I just don't get why we can't come together. Like Cody Mack says there, Tottenham till I die. Well, when it comes to trying to get the changes we want, we're not Tottenham till we die. We just die. I
will admit.
Can I interject on that real quick? I can interject on that by saying a couple of things. Even though we are a fan overall, but the fans are splitted based on how the board and the owners have run it, and which has made like we are not a total bonded together fan. That's not what we are. That's what in a real world, let's say we are Chelsea now. Everybody is a fan because of they are getting what they wanted. But here we don't get what we want, so we have now split it into pieces. Like now, we are not fan base. Some of us are player base, some of us are country base, some of us are coach base. That's how it is. Like for example, now
that's a fair point. Actually, that's not a bad point.
In the Korean world, Asian people, they only support the club because of Son. Trust me, as soon as Son gets out of that club, it's gonna drop. The fan base is gonna drop. It's going to. Some people came to the club, because, like me, for example. I got involved in the club because of England captain #1, king of soccer, England captain #1, Harry Kane. I came to the club because of Harry Kane, and I'm sure a lot of people joined the club or wanted to be in the club because of Harry Kane. And now, as soon as Harry Kane jumps out of the club, they're gonna go with Harry Kane. And you're gonna be like, what happened? I thought you used to be this fan. They say, oh no, I'm a Harry Kane fan. I'm not this fan. So we are all missing the point of why people are there. They are there. If you look at Will Stewart's comment very well, he said a lot of fans in Korea are pushing for Son to get out of the club because they want to leave the club, because they see they can project to the past to be able to use a hypothesis to guess what's going to happen in the future. And we are talking now, and we know that the board doesn't have anything. They don't have intentions of winning anything in the future. So why would you want to stay in the club when you know you don't even have an idea? You don't even have a prospect of want to win anything in the future. So why should you stay? So that's why some fans are saying, I'm just going to split myself under this player. I like this player better. I'll go with this player better. I won't stick with player. I won't stick with the club. In case everything falls out, I can just go with the player. And that's how
I see what you're saying. I mean, and that's a very alien thing to me because I support the club. I love Harry Kane. And I love Harry Kane. But if Harry Kane left and went to like Man U, I don't care how many hat-tricks he scores. He's left Tottenham. Like, I would thank him for everything he done, but he's no longer playing for my team. Do you know what I mean? Like, for me, Tottenham first, but then that's how I was brought up.
Yep.
And you're right. I wasn't looking at it from that point of view. Like, when I said, like, a lot of the fans are the same, I'm just, like, thinking just all die on.
No, that's because of the globalization of the business.
100%.
Once you push it out, you get your categories of fans. Like for me, why I am a Tottenham fan, even though I'm in Malaysia, I don't follow Harry Kane or what. But let's say, for example, when Bale went to Madrid, I still watch Madrid to just watch Bale play. But I'm not going to say, oh, I'm a Madrid fan, you see. But for me, is that why, like I said, my history with Spurs is very simple. I was there in the UK in a period of time, right, when I was very young. I lived in the vicinity. And I became a Spurs fan, right? A lot of fans nowadays identify themselves either with the manager, the player, right? The business. Oh, we love the stadium, right? The stadium is wonderful, right? That's why somehow or another, when you have fractured fan base, like when you said what happened on Saturday, and it was such a disappointment and all that, but there were people there. Only thing is that when you do something like that, it needs organization. Everybody just can't run in blind and, oh, it's going to happen good. No, like I was telling Mr. K earlier, when you want to have a peaceful protest, it needs a lot of organization, because you're not going in there to be rowdy, throw things around, break into things. That kind of protest is easy. Get everybody drunk, smash up the place. That's a protest too.
Yeah,
right?
but we're football fans, Lookman. We're football fans. Football fans are different. We are rowdy. We do like
I understand
to shout and shout.
But for Spurs, we were trying to do it peacefully. But once you do it peacefully and you're not organized, you will never get your message through, because you're fraction. You know, one group of people is doing something this side, one group of people are doing something that side. During this time,
do you know today, right?
We need leaders.
Do you know today?
To stand up and lead.
Have you heard of a Spurs fan called Crackers?
Yes.
Yep.
Crackers.
Yeah, Mr. Cracknell, well done.
Did you listen to that podcast he was on?
Don't get me started. I reached out to him today. Yeah, I reached out to Crackers because I was angry with a few things. Not him, other people that he knows. I've reached out to him, and we had a chat on the phone through WhatsApp.
Yeah,
I like Crackers, and I always will. I've been on a podcast. Listen, he's a proper legacy fan that knows his club inside out, back to front. He's quite an experienced human being, just in life. Just he's got a lot of knowledge about just the evolution of the decades and whatnot. Anyway, kind of point here. I said to him, like, Crackers, how do we get everyone together to try and sort out what's going on at Tottenham? How do we get the fans together? Because, you know, the protests aren't working, but I don't see people who moan and complain doing anything different. And you know what he said to me? We had a long chat about it, and he gave me some examples of trade unionists in the past, like Bob Crow, who used to be the RMT guy. And to cut long story short, my understanding, after chatting to him and me thinking as well, the way forward, and actually I think Mr. K touched on this as well recently, we need to change the message. The message is wrong. ENIC out, Levy out. The problem with that is you've got those that are Levy in, ENIC in. You've got the Levy out, the Levy in. The people that win this war is the group that wins the middle ground, the ones that are on the fence. How do you win them? And he said to me, whoever wins them will be able to have a way forward. And he goes, the only way you win them is you've got to give in a bit. So stop all this Levy out, ENIC out. Change the message. What about reform? ENIC reform. Levy reform. Stay, but change your ways. So that way, you're pleasing those that are scared of saying, get rid of the board. But at the same time, you're just giving enough to those that want the board to go and say, but what if they did change and we could make that happen? And you know what? I think he's right. The more I think about it, which means I've got to swallow my ego a bit, because I'm there with the clown mask and the banners saying, Levy out, Levy out. I've got to change my way. Yeah, and maybe drop the clown mask and put a different mask saying Captain Reform or something funny.
True.
Something funny. But listen, Mr. K, the clown mask and the clown protest and the leave you out, that's a starting point. Let's budge that starting point. And maybe that middle ground says, okay, we can get on board with that. We can join you on that journey. And do you know what? I think that's the way forward for us. To be honest with you, we've almost got to be political, man. And it's just for fuck's sake, really? I mean, what do you guys think about that?
You have to be political because you see, how I see it is, right? The club now is being run like a dictatorship, correct?
There you go. There you go.
Well, the club is run by a dictator now, okay? So we fans are the people of the country, right? And we are not happy. But of course, like every country, there are some people who support the dictator. Okay, I'll give you an example. Levy has built $1 billion business, correct? You imagine how many people that works under his umbrella that's making a living out of him. And that spreads down to the 100,000s, right? From the contractor who built the stadium, from the tea lady who feeds her family that works with Levy. You know, it's a long, that's why I said, Spurs reminds me of my country. And I can't say it too loud, you understand? Yeah? In our political system, we've been institutionalized, brainwashed to accept this kind of situation. Like you've been saying, we are in a Stockholm Syndrome scenario. Okay, it's not all the fans are in Stockholm Syndrome, but a lot of us are because of the fear that what happened in the past, that we nearly went bankrupt or we nearly went down.
Mr. Lookman, sorry, I don't think this is dictatorship because customers can choose where they buy their services from.
No.
So this isn't a dictatorship. I hear what you're trying to say, but I don't think it's quite a dictatorship level.
Yeah. But it's similar to that. You guys are,
no,
but the thing is that, like,
I hear what you're saying.
We have to unite.
I kind of hear what you're saying, but I think we've got a bit more power.
Yeah.
We've got more
So
power.
what I've got to get to is you look at it. You look at it and you say now, how many years do we wait to give reform?
Yeah.
Because we've waited 20 years for change, and there hasn't even been the slightest bit of reform.
But we have to.
So how many more years do you go? Do you know what? How many times do we hear? How many times do we hear? Levy out, Levy this, Levy's going to spend this summer, Levy's going to. And the thing is, I'm getting to is I saw Reloaded put a comment about apparently there's a gentleman's agreement with Kane. Having a gentleman's agreement with Daniel Levy is like going for a prostate exam and then finding out Wolverine's the doctor giving it to you.
So they on some background.
But here's the thing, Brian. But here's the thing,
because they are watching it all over the world.
Can I just quickly comment on Brian very quickly?
15 minutes left.
See, Brian, what? Because me and Crackers spoke about it. And here's the thing: if you do get the majority on board with, let's call it Project Reform, and then and then Levy fails to deliver on that, he's now pissed off a hell of a lot of people now, who will then become, you know what? Now we're Levy out because now he's taking the piss out of us.
Then you grow your Levy out fan base. You see.
Yeah. So listen, if it was me, guys, I want to make it clear. If it was down to me, I'm Enoch out, Levy out all fucking day long, all day long. Yeah. But if I've got to move to get people to come on, then maybe I've got to just bite my tongue, you know.
No, we have to
exactly what Scott Emmers just said. This is the thing. There's only so long because you got to remember we go to Levy Reform, and everyone goes Levy Reform. We try that. He will do something very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. Like, let's just say when we sacked Jose, that was where the Levy reform started. And then he said, just since Mourinho has left, we've been told that we're going to get a manager before the end of the season. Not happening. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We've signed a deal with Dulux. Not happening. Or has happened. What's the point of that? We've been charged £60 for the ticket. Like you said, the highest in Europe. There's been so many things that go on. Which one of those are going to be the ones that break the back of these Levy reformers? So they go, oh, you Levy.
There is no Levy reformer. That's the whole point. There is no message that everyone's behind yet.
There's no middle ground now, right?
There is no the middle ground.
Isn't there one message? There is one message that a lot of fans, even the fans which are Nick in, even they would turn around and say that basically we need a director of football.
They all say we need better recruitment. They all say we've got.
I mean, a director of football, not Levy, a director of football.
But
That's
part of the reform. Yeah,
that's part of the.
Can I make a comment, you guys?
Yeah, go for it.
You guys are really deviating from the problem and trying to nitpick on things. We need to stay focused, and the focus is that I get what you guys are all trying to, and all your points are trying to make. But the point of everything is, if you guys think that, oh, we should reform Levy or Enoch, they are not going to put anything in the club. They're not going to do anything. They're just going to sweep it down the line, bring one cheap player in, and move them for another 20 years before they actually sell the club. Because I'm going to use the best person that I think that can buy the club. If anybody knows about Amazon, you guys can tell me, right? It started Amazon from his garage, and he built it up all to today. There's a newspaper that was bankrupt. It's called Washington Post. It was completely bankrupt. Bezos went in there, bought the place, reformed the old newspaper, and is one of the biggest newspapers in Washington, D.C. today. Believe me, if somebody like Bezos buy this club, is going to put everything in it to make sure it works, because that's how he operates. These guys, what they want, like I said, I don't know if everybody remember, maybe Brian Bagel can remember what I said. I said this club is moving from a football club to an entertainment club. And when you go to entertainment club, it's about the profit. It's not about the club. The football doesn't matter. When you just want to be generating profit,
that's why we need to reform.
Like a secondary. So when you say you want to put a reform in, this guy is not going to reform the money into the football club. That's why.
But that's the point. That's the point. If you get everyone together behind the campaign,
it step by step.
Exactly.
Yes,
step one is get everyone together. How? Change the message.
First of all,
step two, if he doesn't stick to the message, now you've upset a hell of a lot of people. Then we can think about mobilizing a proper protest. But we don't.
Correct.
If he reforms, job done.
Yeah.
Which he won't.
Then we will have a proper protest.
You have all the people sitting on the fence join us on the other side, and maybe then also you might get some inners to join us. But okay,
but you've done reform for 20 years. For 20 years, you've been reforming.
We've never challenged them. We've never challenged them. We've never challenged them.
Reform is the message.
How many protests
actually make them reform?
How many protests have there? How many? Well, actually, I've been wanting to say this for a while. I would just like to thank the two gentlemen on this panel that actually did go to the protest.
Yeah.
No, seriously, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate your efforts and the time you spent doing that. Secondly, how many protests have there actually been at Tottenham? How many?
Hardly any.
Right.
Throughout the years?
So, rather, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
That was during the sugar time.
Not many.
So, whilst I do think I would like Enoch out,
we're not going to get him out, man. The protest.
Someone needs to want to buy him first, and you got to find that. But either way, I do see the sense in saying, okay, how about you need to put football first and make us a proper.
Make a hashtag football first.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
guys.
That might work.
Do you know what doesn't? Do you know what doesn't make sense? That's a great hashtag, football first. Do you know what doesn't make? Do you know what doesn't make sense to me?
Mr. K.
Do you know what doesn't make sense? If you look at Chelsea, before Abramovich came, they were almost going bankrupt. They nearly lost their stadium in the 80s because they were that much in financial difficulty. They weren't really a giant in football. They were. In fact, I think West Ham United might have been bigger than them. I don't know, but they weren't a touch on Tottenham. But since then, because they've been successful winning trophies and the investment into success has happened, their global fan base has gone far bigger than possibly Tottenham's. The revenues of the club have increased. and their ability to attract the best players and the best managers has also increased. So when you look at the money Chelsea generates now, it's gone super high because they've grown the fan base. Why? Because the new fans or fans looking for a team, they tend to either go to whatever mum and dad say or what team's the most successful right now. That's why you get kids in London wearing Manchester City tops. So if Levy, and this is the bit I don't understand with him, if he invested in us becoming successful, he'd get more fucking money from the winnings from the competitions and the global fan base would multiply. I don't get it. This is the bit I don't understand with him.
I know why he does.
The problem
I know why he does.
No, the problem
because it's a gamble.
The problem
And he doesn't like
gambling around anyway.
But is it a gamble, Jason?
Yeah, well, it is. You can't. I mean, look. Obviously, history has proven you can certainly buy success, like 100%. But it's still a gamble to a degree. You know what I mean? And like, you don't like gambling.
But the thing with Roman is that the profits made by the club, he puts it back into the club. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Our owners, the profit made by
problem-
the club goes into their pockets. That's
I think we're gonna probably have to look into that a little bit more on another show. Right now, we go on.
The problem might not be even Inic. The problem might be Levy controlling the whole system, because Levy is the director of football. Levy is the coach. Levy directs the management. Levy controls everything. Levy refused to hire director of football. I mean, I'm making somebody who's the director of football a manager backwards. I mean, just because he doesn't want anybody to have.
Right, was it you who said that Maswa just appoint Levy as the manager? Levy appoints himself as the manager.
I don't think it's
someone said that.
Somebody said that. Yeah. Why don't Levy just become the manager himself? Yeah. He's got everything up and
so that we know.
Yeah. For all you know, that's why Levy hasn't announced the manager yet, because he's trying to get his super license, right? Then, just after the Euros, he'll say that, okay, I'm going to be manager. And then at least if he becomes
guys, I want to address this issue over here about hiring and firing managers and scouts and so forth. Tottenham used to have a technical director. They used to have a technical director. It was his job to hire and fire the staff, right? Yeah. And Levy got rid of him.
Mitchell.
Like, he didn't have a director of football, but he did have a technical director, and decides, I know, I'll get rid of the technical director too.
He's had 5.
Yeah.
He's had 5. David Pleat, Frank Arneson, Kamoli, Baldini, Mitchell. Okay, every single time he's here, Scott M put a comment up saying exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
This is why I understand we kind of need to give in a bit, and it's a bit of give or take, but you can't go from ENIC out to ENIC reform. You can't do that. You will never hear the words come out of my mouth after all I've been saying for over 14 years. Go, do you know what? I've seen this, I've seen this, I've seen this, I've seen this. I've been ENIC out, I've been Levy out. But do you know what? Just so I can try and get you bunch of people, I'm going to give in a little bit. Now, any Levy in or ENIC in fan can come to me and have a debate with me. Quite openly, I will not say, oh, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. I will discuss with them. You give me what you can put forward, and I will give you what I can put forward.
We do need
now,
more
when
dialogue.
we look at it, every way you look at it, transfers, have we got in the right players at the right time? No. Technical directors or directors of football, when they've come in, have they been listened to? No. When we've been promised things, have they been delivered? No. So how many more times, or how many straws is it going to take for the camel's back to break? This is why I cannot. If I was to turn around and say I stand for ENIC reform, I would be the biggest hypocrite. Especially Stelios has known this with me and him for years. But since I've been on YouTube, and since I started appearing on We Are Tottenham TV, and since I've been on Tottenham Away with Stel and created Tottenham Away with Stel, Brian Ireland and Shy, I've been saying the same message. And every single time I say the same message, and nothing will prove it more, that when the ESL was brought out, I went on to We Are Tottenham TV, and a few weeks before, I went absolutely mental on that show for Levy's 20 years, and I got crucified. But then as soon as I went on for We Are Tottenham TV, for that, ESL, they're like, Brian, do you know what? You were right, 100%. You've called this down the line the whole way through. So when I keep saying things and they're right, why should I say, well, do you know what? I'm right, but because you don't feel the same as me, I'm going to give in a little and see. I mean, what's it going to take when Kane leaves? When we don't have strikers to replace him?
We're not asking you to change your stance. We're not asking you to change your stance, Brian. Yeah, we're not asking you to change your stance. Keep your stance because your philosophy has its point. But what Stelios is saying is that we must find another way to try to unite the fans. You see, and there are fans out there who are willing to.
I'm still leaving out Enoch out. I just need to change my message. I can't hear me say
but we have to look at it at a different point of view. Every fan has its right to have their own opinion, to have their own point of view. But if we want to get everybody together, we have to do it in a polite way. We have to do it.
I've been doing it in a polite way.
Yeah, I understand. I'm not saying you. We all have to do it in a polite way. We all have to get down and sit together. We all have to have open dialogue to understand.
Guys. Wait. Guys. This is episode 1 of the Three Wise Men. There's episode 2. There's gonna be episode 3. There's gonna be episode 4. I'm loving this.
But episode 1, we must pump up the drama and say.
Well, we're gonna have to wrap this up. We're gonna have to talk to the main man that is supposed to be telling us what to do and running this thing.
Awesome.
Is Brian Bagel and Mr. K. We are the Three Wise Men and me. So I'll give it up to Mr. K to take it over, guys.
Guys, listen. Awesome. You need a wider camera. I want to see the top of your head as well. Next time, all right? Areas to improve.
Right.
Lockman, you need a cushion underneath so you can stand up a little bit.
Awesome teeth.
You're a little bit like that right now.
I'm adjusting my thing. I need to get lights. I need to I know how to change my seating
Start the camera the other way, then you'll be like Brian Island. Okay? But listen, Jason, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Really, your distinct viewpoint, it really comes true every time you speak. Lockman, Eugene, it's an absolute pleasure to hear from the fans from the other side of the planet. Please do carry on the good work that you're doing there, spreading the Spurs disease everywhere. And Stelios, you've been an absolutely fantastic guest. Thank you for coming on our very first premiere of Three Wise Men.
You guys have been awesome, man. You guys have been awesome.
I mean, basically,
awesome.
Helped us.
Fantastic.
You've helped us with the first part, which was the education. Everyone needs to get educated on what has been going on, and it's not going to happen in one night. That's why I've got the warning, the PTS. Andy Lloyd, this is the best comment that's been made all night. Honest to God, I love this one over here.
What's that? PTSD? What's that?
PTSD warning.
Basically, we're removing ourselves from something that's going to induce some sort of madness in our brains.
Stress.
Yes, post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Can I suggest something, guys? Just popped into my head. I think we should get
Andy
every
Lloyd.
YouTube channel.
Yeah, to do what?
Big up Andy Lloyd. I think we should get every YouTube channel and every social media Spurs account for all of us to start putting a banner saying reform our Spurs or reform Enoch, whatever we want to go with, #football first. If we can get that, then the subliminal message starts every time you go onto something, you're seeing it.
Football first.
Well, but we need football first is the hashtag.
I tell you the truth, what's been happening is I've been doing a little bit of work for Paxton Road TV, and they've been using me when they can't find one of their own boys to go on a stream that's going on. And a lot of these streams that they put me on are streams that are other football fans. So what you're doing is you're doing like a pre-match, it's going to say, what do you reckon this is going to be the score for this particular match? Well, I believe it's going to be 5-1, rather. So I've been doing things like that, but what I've done is I've done it under the hashtag of football first. I'm using that label anywhere I can to say,
that's what I mean. Yeah, that's it.
You want to put your hand out, to somebody and shake it, then use the hashtag football first. So I think you got a point there. If you can polish this up a little bit more and give some examples, we can take screenshots and then show them to the fans next week.
Mr. K, why don't you make a thumbnail or picture for me? I'll change all my profiles to Enoch Reform Football First.
The reason why I would love to do that, but I'm absolutely no good at doing it right now because I've got a secret weapon. Will Stewart.
Lookman,
Will Stewart, illustrator. for everything that you see. Let me show you a few
There you
things.
go. I was going to say I'll do one for you
things,
if you give me your details, but Will Stewart can do it if he wants.
It's going to happen
anybody
now,
can do
boys.
it. You know, like you put it on Twitter, I will pick it up and I'll put it on my what I've done. I've changed my
sorry, I do beg your pardon. Wrong thing. All right, that's the one. He created this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Will Stewart's work here. Three wise men. It's absolutely brilliant.
I love that Spurs badge. That's the 1991 badge. That's amazing. I love that's my favourite badge. That one.
That's our last FA Cup badge.
That's a beautiful badge. Real shield.
I did have a different color as well originally, but we decided to make it look a bit more older for the first episode because there's so many of us that are a little bit old now. But there's a few things which I've been playing around with.
It's like a funeral.
I'm trying to get this to become transparent, the white bits, and then I'll use it for something else which I've got in mind. And don't forget, we've got patrons. Will's got patrons. They're paying for this channel. Literally, Spartan 7 Gaming, Wayne Bono, Mama Coates, Celery Agent, AG, Goguma, and Tony Co. Please, big shout out to these boys.
Yeah,
so guys, listen, I'm gonna call it an evening. We're actually 2 minutes over. If anybody wants to have last words right now, please do put your hand up and take it away. And anyone out there that's looking, please hit the like button. Help Will out. And secondly, if you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Get onto YouTube and subscribe. Do it now. Go for it, Brian.
I've just got away with my final thing before my wife gives me a divorce because I promised her I'll be in earlier. But I'm ending every single stream on every single channel I go on with one song which I've trademarked, which is mine. Stelios knows it very well. Lookman is getting ready for it. It's becoming a bit of a tradition. So let's all go for it. It's na 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 na. We want Enoch out, Enoch out. We want Enoch out. So yeah, so I just had to, there we go. I want that being sung. Still, you got to get that sung for me tomorrow.
I'll get it.
Right. There you go. There's your hashtag football first. All right, everyone. This is what I want you to do. Go out there. Look, every little helps. Every little helps.
Tesco.
You know, every little helps. And if just typing this out helps, fantastic. If typing this out gets you confused, fine. Do that one instead. You know, one or the other. Let's make bridges. Let's try to connect with people. And let's try to understand where they're coming from. Because at the end of the day, it's like, we can't do this without the fans. Yes? Everyone agree? You can't do it by ourselves. Can't be two blokes running around wearing a mask. Unless they're Batman and Robin. All right, guys, listen, I'm going to do the outro. Has anyone got anything left to say? Otherwise, I'm rolling it out. Right, listen. Oh wow, there's been a bucket load of comments. I don't know whether or not I should highlight any. There's there's glory over profit, which is always the one. Enoch and football first. Thank you, people are getting it. Brian and Stellas promote Tottenham awareness. Great, that's for the PTSD boys. Right, and we got Stelios things will work out. That's all we need. That's all we need. Celery Agent, you're absolutely on the money.
Big up, Celery Agent. Big up.
You know that. Listen, guys, this has been absolutely a pleasure to have all of you guys here. I know that there wasn't as much structure as maybe some bit more, some pictures to look at, some stats, some pie charts. That would be nice, but I was given advice by someone very wise who said, don't try to make it too boring. I hope I haven't made it too boring for everyone out there today.
If he was wise, he would have told you not to support Tottenham.
You can't do that. That's already in our blood.
He couldn't help it. It was too late, but I was already bitten by then. But listen, thank you very much, guys. I'm going to roll out the outro. And finally, Stel knows. There you go. Reform is the way. Bob's been saying it for time. I hate it. It's another one of those Bob was right moments. Oh my days! It's explaining
to people how, and it's describing that middle ground.
We need to get the structure of the reform to people. Yeah, we need the plan of doing this, right? But that maybe we'll go into it the next few shows down the road to educate and to inspire people to show the plan. Everybody now says that we need a plan and we must show the plan. So we have to stand up and show the plan. That's all. If anybody,
guys.
Yeah,
I can see Brian. He's having a meltdown.
I'm
not happy with this.
No, it's not just that, mate.
It's okay, Brian. It's okay. Yeah.
I'll tell you what it is, Jay. It's bloody hot here in Toronto. I don't know how hot it's got for you in Nova Scotia. It is bloody.
Not as bad as that, mate.
Oh my God, it spits in here,
That's global warming, Brian.
And honestly,
Right,
mate,
guys.
and I'm being triggered right now. It's very good that this is the outro because I'm being triggered.
Guys,
All right.
guys,
We
I'm
love
gonna
you
kick you off.
dearly.
I'm gonna kick you all off the stream soon.
Yeah.
Right, you guys can still hang around the back end if you wish to. I know you're still there. You can stay there for a little bit. I'm just gonna run the outro. Guys, everyone that's watching right now and everyone that's gonna watch in the future on a replay or something or another, please do hit the like. It's free. But the main thing is thank you for coming across this channel. Thank you for coming across Will Stewart's THFC's Rants channel. Under this channel, there are lots of people just like you. I'm one of you as well. And this is a place we call home now. So please come on in, subscribe, like, and encourage other people and give your 2 pence. Anyway, guys, take care. God bless.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Let's go now.
Hey guys. Hey, Mr. K.
See you
sit
guys.
here. Yeah.
Bye.